Let's start off our day with something wonderful. Or how about hear a story about someone being marvelous? Let's make today wonderless. This is the daily dose, the show that gives you a daily dose of happy, uplifting, positive, feel-good stories from around the world. Welcome to another episode of Wonderlous News. I'm Hoyt Christopher. Let's get right to it. So our first segment is urban walkability is gaining a foothold in the U.S. Oh, yeah. Outdoor dining provided a lifeline for restaurants like Posneck's Moonrise, which is a store in New York City. And having that during the pandemic, obviously restaurants couldn't have people inside, so they started doing outdoor seating and along sidewalks and taking up that part of that street space. In fact, some streets, as you've seen, started with with parking spaces in front, and then they expanded and put basically seating out there for the restaurants, which was a great sort of solution to what was happening with not being able to have people inside. But then it expanded in regards to people really got used to it and they want to. I mean, I love sitting outside. There's a street where we live where you can sit right there. They've built these areas in the parking area of a street. They've closed off the street and you can sit there and dine. Summer, winter, fall, doesn't matter here in California. So we have those options. But look, this really pushed everyone to say now, because of outdoor seating, the walkability factor, like if you look at houses for rent or whatnot on Zillow, you'll see that there's a walkability number that they usually assign to that place, that apartment, condo, house, whatever it is. So if it's close to urban living, downtown, or areas where you can walk and get coffee, then that number goes up even higher. So people that are looking to have the ability to walk around and be more mobile with, instead of in a car, and go to different things in town, experience, shopping, restaurants, like we mentioned, then this walkability factor really increases. And what they're seeing is this is really big, becoming bigger here. This is a big thing in Europe, right? So we've heard about that before, where in other European countries, having outdoor seating, walkability, having a walkability factor, people riding bikes more than cars, driving, all that stuff. That's been a trend in a lot of different countries. Amsterdam is one area that really increases that walkability number and really thrives on it. In fact, when I was in Amsterdam, they literally have bike parking lots. Okay, I'm no joke, like 3, 4, 5 levels of bike parking lots where you ride in to take the bus or the train, and you park your bike, you lock it up, and I mean it's incredible. It's a tower of bikes being stored and locked up. So this look at walkability really increased, and we're seeing that the 15-minute city concept is starting to become a really big thing for us. We're looking at how to make the walkability factor more available here in urban areas. So stating that all people should have access to all the goods and services they would need within 15 minutes of their home. That's the walkability, or the 15-minute city that they're developing here in the US. So you walk 15 minutes from your house, you're going to be able to engage with, restaurant, shops, other things where you can sit outside, enjoy yourself, and not be set into, I have to drive there. So I love this. I think it's a great thing. And I love seeing more and more urban planning and development focused around that. So great story. Next story. Lieutenant's prayers are answered after beloved pup he bonded with overseas is rescued. So this guy was overseas. He's a U.S. Army first lieutenant. Okay. And his name is Tad, but he doesn't want to give us his last name just in case. So when he was overseas, he found a stray dog and really bonded with it. This dog and him started hanging out, and the dog followed him around. Of course, he fed him, so of course he followed him around. Why wouldn't you if you're a dog? That's what dogs do. But he bonded with him. Named the little pup Gus. It's a cute little dog. If you want to go there and check it out on the description, you'll find the link to that segment that I found. But he had to go back to the U.S., right? He was done with his tour, being out of the country. And so this nonprofit called, I didn't know this was even a thing, called Paws of War, he reached out to and said, look, I've got this dog here. I want to bring it back. Obviously that there's a lot of red tape that goes with that. So he contacted Posivore. It's this, nonprofit, and they handled it. They got the dog from overseas here to the US so Tad could, be reunited with this dog. And they do this all the time. I had no idea that a lot of our soldiers that are overseas will find these stray dogs, they'll bond with them, and they'll get them back over here. They'll adopt them and bring them over to the States, which is incredible. So let's see. I mean, he had helped me through, he said, this is what Tad said. He goes, he had helped me through deployment and had given me something to look forward to each day. And now I was about to betray him, meaning I was going to leave and have to go back stateside. So with that thought in mind, he reached out to Posivore, and they got the dog reunited with Tad here in the States. Dog name is Gus. So Gus and Tad are hanging out. I like that story. Bonding with an animal is something that many of us have found to be really helpful going through life and going through some hard times. There is definitely something therapeutic, and that is scientific, therapeutic about having a dog, petting a dog, and that relationship with the dog can really support you in a lot of trials and tribulations. So good for Tad and Gus. I love that. All right. This is our Wonderless moment of the day, brought to you by Rise by Shaman Angelina. She has that Etsy site, and the link to her site on Etsy with all of her handmade coastal jewelry items is in the description of the show. So go ahead and check that out. And today's moment is a video of a bunny. This is because my oldest son, loves bunnies. And I asked him, I go, what video should we choose for this show? And he said, a bunny. And I knew he was going to choose a bunny because I said, what animal? And of course, his favorite animal is a bunny. So check this out, a little bunny chilling out and some music. Wow. That's cute. My son is going to love that. I'll have to show him that after the show is up and running today for all of you. So our next segment, a building material that consumes CO2 has finally made it to the US. I love this article, and what they're referring to is this building material, so you know, is hemp concrete. I think they actually call it hempcrete. So this has been going on for quite a while, but this article is making it more known that we're really pushing to provide and have access here in the United States to more and more hemp building materials. And this is really cool. I know a lot about hempcrete. Apparently, the mix of the hemp fibers, water, and lime or clay, that's how they bind it together. And this really proves to be, obviously it consumes CO2, so it absorbs that, which is incredible. It helps to provide fire resistance, so it's fire resistant, provides soundproofing, insulates or stores heat, depends on what the external temperature is, repels molds and pests, and is malleable enough to allow for various aesthetic styles. So look, and on top of that, hemp, the product, right, is really a sustainable crop. You can grow this thing with very little need for pesticides. It's ideal for rotation because you don't have to rotate it. It doesn't destroy the ground. And it has a quick growing ability. So it grows really quickly and can be harvested over and over and grown and harvested over and over again. So hemp is one of those fibers and those plants that, so we all understand, we used to use it a lot over 100 years ago, and even early 1900s. And then, somewhere along the way, we decided that, concrete and other building materials were better for us to use. And a lot of that had to do with those that were producing and providing those didn't want to lose the money, right? They wanted to make that money. But hemp is a much better, and this is proving so, it's a much better product to use for building. So I love this. I want to see more and more of this. And if it improves insulation and it's great for the environment and it's, I mean, fire resistant, are you kidding me? Like, why would we not use hempcrete more often? So, but it is growing. It's, let's see, they said that what they did was they constructed this 7-room school from the 1960s, and they did a whole revamp of it and renovated it into a $1.9 million project with the first real hempcrete school here in the United States, at least according to this article. So love that. All right, well, let's jump into the Wonderlous thought by me, myself, and I. And let's talk about hemp, cannabis, and green, right? So just we kind of went over it briefly. Hemp is one of those products, just so you know, it has 0.003% THC. You just wouldn't be able to consume enough of it to have any sort of effects of it giving you from some marijuana or cannabis, what those effects would be. It's an incredible plant that grows quickly. It grows really kind of wild. I think that's why we always call it weed, right? You know, and on top of that, it's really much better for the environment and can replace a lot of different things that we use here in the U.S. So it would be great to see more use of hemp and green products and building materials like this. Hemp also can produce oils that can be used for a lot of different things. Obviously, the clothing we've heard of. So look, I think for us to keep pushing to make this allowed here in the U.S., which it was just really restricted because of marijuana, not because of what hemp was, and also because of other industries that didn't want to compete with hemp. So let's see a comeback, which it looks like there is, and let's start seeing more houses built with hempcrete and more products built using the hemp plant instead of, like, let's say, for example, you could use hemp oils to provide those combinations for oil, right? So for gasoline, sorry, which we see we're using corn, right? So we're using corn that we grow, which we could essentially eat, and we're taking that and breaking that down and mixing it with gasoline, so it's not a full gasoline mix, but you could use hemp for that, and it's a lot easier to grow and a lot better for the environment. So, all right, look, if you have a positive feel-good story, let me know. Send it to me. The email address is right there down below, and I'd love to talk about it here on the show. In the meantime, thanks again for watching and listening. I'm Hoyt Christopher, and this is Wonderless News. See you tomorrow.